What's going on, Consciouztv, your favorite breakdown commentator, CTV? Welcome to another Riveting episode of the Consciouztv platform. You already know what we're here to get into. It is a lot going on, and we got to talk about all of it, child. You already see what the headline is. Before we do so, though, I need you guys to thumbs up the video until it's absolutely stuck. You guys know that thumbing up the video not only helps with YouTube's algorithm, but more importantly, it triggers up YouTube's notification system. So when you are thumbing up the video, you are literally knocking on the digital door of another conscious crew member and telling them to get their black asses into the sanctuary. Also, if you appreciate everything that the King does, you can always donate to the platform at $ Cash App, Consciouztv, or paypal.me/Consciouztv. All donation information and social media handles are in the description box below. Also, if you are new here, definitely subscribe, and all of you need to make sure that you have notification bell set to all so that you never miss a day or hour when the King is in fact King. And last but not least, please share the stream out to wherever it is you have digital community, whether that be YouTube community or your Snapchat, your MySpace, Dark Side of Twitter, Tumblr, or your personal OF. I don't really give a damn where you in fact lay the link. Just let them whores know that we're loud, we're live, and we're certainly in color. And with no further ado, let's go ahead and push on through.
I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
What's going on, you guys? Let me speak to the conscious crew in the building. Happy Wednesday. Hope you guys are having a wonderful hump day. Hey, Courtney. Hey, Tamika. What's going on? Hey, Moon Witch. Hey, Serena. Yes, God, we're working. Hey, Valerie. What's going on? Ian Gardner. Hey, Lisa. What's going on, Rissa? Hey, Ari. What's going on? Hey, y'all. Yes, Queen of Topics. Multiple, honey. Bike to bike. Hey, Just Be Real. Hey, Michelle. Hey, y'all. Yeah, so you guys know that we went live earlier to get into next piece of hot topics. If you guys did not get a chance to get into that, please tune into that. We got into some Wendy Williams, Celeb Hip Hop. We got into Cardi B and all of her drama, girl. Okay, we got into some things. Make sure that you guys check that out. We're getting into a more serious topic today, girl. I don't know if you guys know, but this Jeffrey Epstein thing has really been picking up legs. Ever since the Dems and everybody has been calling, including MAGA, for the release of the Epstein files. You guys know that y'all's favorite orange, allegedly dying president, Trump, has had his name all up through these files. We found that out a month or two ago. He's known for some time now that his name has been listed. Of course, he would know anyway. Him and Jeffrey, according to him, were best friends. You guys know that a birthday card was presented to the public that was allegedly from Trump to Jeffrey Epstein, where Donald Trump shared in that birthday card to Jeffrey that they have a lot of interesting secrets between one another. You guys know that Trump has been a big perv as well. He's made very off-putting statements, even making like sexual statements toward his own daughter and how he would basically wipe her up and impregnate her if she wasn't his daughter, which I don't even think that's really stopping him. It's probably just her saying no that's stopping him from being her baby daddy. We also know that he bragged about pretty much owning a pageant, and because he's the owner, he's used that privilege and weaponized that privilege to invade the privacy of the pageant girls by busting up into the dressing room. There are a lot of testimonial and statements from those girls who talked about the way that Donald Trump would invade their privacy at these pageants and they would be dressed half naked. Some of these girls were teenage girls as young as 15 and 16 years of age. You guys also know that last year Donald Trump was found liable in a sexual assault lawsuit as well. So just a disgusting, disastrous, low-down, dirty bastard, okay? On top of the fact that when he ran for president last year, he was literally campaigning around the country in his ex-bestie's private jet. He was flying around in the Epstein jet, for God's sakes. You guys know that there's been no justice really brought unto Trump. There's been no real investigation brought unto him, despite the fact that these accusers have not changed their story at all. Well, they've all come forward to hold a press conference calling for justice, calling for investigations. Attorneys were present, Democratic lawmakers were present. It was a whole thing, girl. So it's going to be interesting to see where this stuff goes. Donald Trump has done everything to deflect from the Epstein files, from saying that they are a hoax and a invention by Barack Obama and Biden, to saying that, well, they are real, but there are a lot of people in those files who shouldn't be in those files. Okay, he's trying to find every which way to pretty much soften the blow just in case those raw files leak. And guess what? An overnight committee has released 30,000 pages of the Epstein files, you guys, okay? So we got to get into this first, and then we got to get into the press conference. Don Lemon also was rejected by a congresswoman who was at the press conference, who was not here for him, girl. It is a whole entire mess. All right? So check this out. I'm putting this up on my phone. Oversight Committee releases Epstein files, Epstein records provided by the Department of Justice. Today, the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform released 33,000 pages of Epstein-related records that were provided by the U.S. Department of Justice. On August 5th, Chairman Cromer issued a subpoena for records related to Mr. Jeffrey Epstein, and the Department of Justice has indicated it will continue producing those records while ensuring the redaction of victim identities and any child sexual abuse material. All right. Now, you guys also know that this administration has been working with Ghislaine Maxwell, who was Jeffrey Epstein's right-hand woman. Apparently, she's been moved to a low-level prison that is essentially like high luxury living for felons. There's been talks of pardons. We know that members of Trump's administration have sat down with Giselle. People are calling a lot of stuff that's happening a play. There is alleged audio of her basically saying she never witnessed Donald Trump with any young girls or getting any massages, etc. A lot of people are not buying it for the obvious. Trump has a lot to lose, and Maxwell has a lot to gain from keeping Donald Trump's name out of her mouth and out of this Epstein multiverse, because he is her only clear path toward freedom via pardon. So, you know, it's a lot. Hey, Bubs. Hey, Nicole. Hey, Boo. Hey, Keita. Hey, y'all. Hey, Bougie. What's going on? Hey, Brooke. Hey, everybody. So, 33,000 pages of Jeffrey Epstein related records. I mean, my God, today, have those records been scrubbed? Is this a super redacted version? These are the things that we don't really have a real way right now of getting to the bottom of, because we haven't even seen the official listing. So I don't know how we're going to quite navigate this, but where we are going to start is by getting into those 30,000 pages. Thank God there's a lot of AI software invented. So I'm sure that there are softwares and systems that you can run these documents through to highlight key names like Jeffrey Ghislaine, Donald Trump, or any other politician and public figure to see how many times their names come up in these files. There's a particular software that I used to use years ago that could actually do that. I'm gonna have to ask Larry about that because I totally forgot the name of that software, but you can pretty much plug and upload a file into it, and you can type into the search engine what name or names or words, keywords you want highlighted, and the software pretty much run and scan the entire docket, tells you how many times those names come up, and then go to that portion within the document to show you what's happening around that person's name. I got time, so I'll probably be getting into all of that with 30,000 freaking pages. All right, now we're going to get into this press conference, but before we go forward, let's go backwards. Okay, after this press conference, Don Lemon was boots to the ground. He was actually present during this live conference of Jeffrey Epstein's victims, etc. And he attempted to ask the congresswoman present about what she's doing pretty much to encourage the Republicans to be transparent, etc. girl. And things got rather tense between the congresswoman and Don Lemon. So let me show you what happened after the press conference. Then we're going to go to the beginning of it and listen to it for ourselves. Let me see here, Don Lemon. Blue. All right. Here we go. Now, and please, you guys, make sure that you guys thumbs up. Check this out.
What I like.
And give me your one in the chat if you can hear the audio. So here's the congresswoman in blue here, and Don Lemon's microphone is here.
How Rose said it, this two-tiered system in America where the rich, powerful elite seem to get away with everything and regular Americans always seem to suffer.
Are you reaching out to other Republicans to join it, and if so, how?
Oh, wait. Weren't you harassing my office yesterday?
No, I wasn't. I was there reporting.
Yeah, no, I have a video of you busting in my office.
I was there reporting. But I would like to stick with, how are you encouraging other Republicans to sign on, Martin Taylor Greene?
Jordan, hi.
You said that you were.
She's not going to answer the call. I'll ask her again.
Give us some of those names, please.
I haven't been given the list of names, but I'll be working with the women when they're ready to put that list together. And you heard from the young woman that was talking about.
I just heard her accusing him of busting in with a bunch of other people to her office and causing a bit of a ruckus, which Dawn is denying. Okay, she's given the Caucasian version of events.
That when they're ready to put that list of names together, if they allow me to do so, I'll be happy to walk right in that Capitol and say it.
It's an important question and you didn't answer it. Do you mind answering it, please?
Then will it be binding and will it force the administration to comply?
Yes, so it has to pass the House and then it has to pass the Senate, and then the president needs to sign it into law. That's how our legislative process works.
Congressman,
How are you encouraging other Republicans to
these women,
sign on?
Their stories and giving them a voice versus the dozens of credible accusations that have come forward of sexual abuse victims of Donald Trump? What is the distinction between their situations?
Well, I think what we're seeing here today is these women are standing out here and talking about how they got no justice under the Biden administration. They got no justice under the previous Trump administration. They got no justice under the Obama administration. They got no justice under the Bush administration. They got no justice anywhere. And these women, I haven't heard any of them accuse Donald Trump, but I
was asking though.
I know I'm not addressing that. I'm answering your question. This is about what they're talking about today. They were abused by Jeffrey Epstein, and they say others. They say there's a smaller group of them that were abused by other men.
Hey there, everyone, sports fans, Galaxy lovers, and everyone else watching. Welcome to Galaxy Live's first and
video.
And they are going to discuss a time and a place if they want to name those names.
Would you name them on the House floor?
Why do you think the White House is telling Republicans that this bill is a hostile act?
We already talked about that one. Yeah, I know. We already covered it.
I'm not the news. I just want to say thank you so much.
you.
I'm a survivor, and I really, really appreciate everything that you've been doing to support this bill. It's really important. So thank you for being here. Thank you for speaking. And thank you for what you said about the elite and how we really can't let anybody get away with this. This is, it's an act of hostility against all survivors across the country, and it has bigger impacts than just the victims for Epstein. It has, impacts for all victims. So thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you. God bless you.
Oh my gosh, I don't know how you do this every day. This is terrifying.
Yeah.
Congresswoman, the last question you answered from that young lady, I was with them yesterday in your office.
Pardon
So
me.
what are you doing to encourage other Republicans
Pardon me.
to join
Excuse
in?
me.
Can you answer my questions? I am also a survivor. You've
been fired for being a misogynist.
No, I'm not. We can talk about things that are not true, but I would love to stick to the point and ask you.
You can follow the protocols and talk to my staff.
I'm following the protocols.
No,
I'm
you're
talking
not.
to
No,
these
you
folks right
harassed
now.
my office.
Answer my question now.
You disrespected my office.
I did
you
not.
disrespected
I did not.
me.
I came in with
and
a group
you
of people.
rushed in my office yesterday with your people that were Tesla takedown that attacked Tesla
The people
dealerships.
who I followed. So can you please answer my question, Congresswoman? Why won't you answer the question?
No, because you're disgusting.
Okay, and why do you say that? Why the personal attacks?
To the right.
Why the personal attacks, Congresswoman, instead of answering the question? Especially as a survivor of sexual abuse, I would like to get a question from you. How are you encouraging other Republicans?
Donald Trump. Is that a problem for the president?
Excuse me. You need to give me space to walk, please.
Is your stance on this a problem for Donald Trump, Margaret?
I can't hear everybody.
When the MAGA base.
Can somebody move him out of the way? Thank you. Thank you, Anna. Look, it takes a woman. How about that? You're
Don't push me.
Don't step on me.
Yeah.
Gotta make a path. Okay? Yes.
I'm trying to go back to Rayburn.
Guys, make a path.
Hey
guys, make a path.
I'm gonna let you get in front of me.
Girl, Karen was in full effect. I want to go back a little bit. My God, honey. Them Republicans, honey, they're nasty work. Nasty work.
You mind answering it, please?
Then will it be binding and will it force the administration to comply?
Yes, so it has to pass the House, and then it has to pass the Senate, and then the president needs to sign it into law. That's how our legislative process works.
Congressman,
How are you encouraging other Republicans to
these women
sign on?
Their stories and giving them a voice versus the dozens of credible accusations that have come forward of sexual abuse victims of Donald Trump? What is the distinction between their situations?
Well, I think what we're seeing here today is these women are standing out here and talking about how they got no justice under the Biden administration. They got no justice under the previous Trump administration. They got no justice under the Obama administration. They got no justice under the Bush administration. They got no justice anywhere. And these women, I haven't heard any of them accuse Donald Trump, but I was
asking though.
I know I'm not addressing that. I'm answering your question. This is about what they're talking about today. They were abused by Jeffrey Epstein, and they say others. They say there's a smaller group of them that were abused by other men, and they are going to discuss a time and a place if they want to name those names.
Would you name them on the House floor?
Why do you think the White House is telling Republicans that this bill is a hostile act?
We already talked about that one. Yeah, I know. We already covered it.
I'm not the news. I just wanted to say thank you so much. I'm a survivor, and I really, really appreciate everything that you've been doing to support this bill. It's really important. So thank you for being here. Thank you for speaking. And thank you for what you said about the elite and how we really can't let anybody get away with this. This is, it's an act of hostility against all survivors across the country, and it has bigger impacts than just the victims for Epstein. It has, impacts for all victims. So thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you. God bless you.
Oh my gosh, I don't know how you do this every day. This is terrifying.
Yeah.
Congresswoman, the last question you answered from that young lady, I was with them yesterday in your office.
Pardon
So what are you doing to encourage other Republicans
Pardon me.
to join
Excuse
in?
me.
Can you answer my questions? I am also a survivor.
You've been fired for being a misogynist.
No, I'm not. We can talk about things that are not true, but I would love to stick to the point and ask you.
You can follow the protocols and talk to my staff.
I'm following the protocols.
No,
I'm
you're
talking
not.
to these folks right now.
You harassed my office.
Answer my question now.
You disrespected my office.
I did not.
You disrespected
I did not.
me.
I came in with
and
a group
you
of people.
rushed in my office yesterday with your people that were Tesla takedown that attacked Tesla
the people
dealerships.
who I followed. So can you please answer my my question, Congresswoman? Why won't you answer the question?
Because you're disgusting.
Okay, and why do you say that? Why the personal attacks?
Right, to the right.
Why the personal attacks, Congresswoman, instead of answering the question? Especially as a survivor of sexual abuse, I would like to get a question from you. How are you encouraging other Republicans?
Donald Trump. Is that a problem for the president?
Excuse me. You need to give me space to walk, please.
Is your stance on this a problem for Donald Trump, Marjorie?
I can't hear everybody.
When the MAGA base,
Can somebody move him out of the way? Thank you. Thank you, Anna. Look, it takes a woman. How about that? You're
don't push me. Don't step on me. Yeah.
Gotta make a path. Guys? Yes.
I'm trying to go back to Rayburn.
Guys, make a path.
Republicans on board.
Hey guys, make a path.
I'm gonna let you get in front of me.
So, Congresswoman, will you please just answer my question? How are you encouraging other Republicans?
Stop touching me.
When the MAGA base is not in line with Donald Trump, is that a problem for the president?
Can you answer my question, Congresswoman? Respectfully, I'm asking. Don't push me, sir. Please.
You were thrown out of my office.
I'm just asking you a question. I'm not breaking the line. You're pushing me. That's assault. So, Congresswoman, can you answer my question, please?
No, I didn't get your email, Rick.
Are you reaching out to other Republicans, and who? How are you doing it? Let me ask you. I saw Nancy Mace having a panic attack yesterday. She asked me to not show the video because she wanted me to respect her privacy, and I didn't. What do you think about this? This is traumatic for a lot of women and survivors.
How are you doing? Oh, thank you.
We want to take out the competition.
Okay, let me tell you something. Joyce Reed and Don Lemon being fired was the best thing that ever happened to them, baby, because now them dogs are off the motherfucking leash, baby. Them dogs are off the motherfucking leash, baby. No corporate overhead. They ain't got nobody telling them what they can and can't do. They ain't got a tap dance for the man no more, baby. They can get loose out there in them streets. Y'all run them likes up. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, Don Lemon does come back. Let me see here.
You guys make sure.
Remember, you're a public servant. You answer to the public. I'll be expecting an interview.
Stop here. Good. Thank you. Anyone not?
Wouldn't answer my question. But that doesn't stop dogged reporters because she would not answer the question. Anyways, there you go. I want to know who she's reaching out to. I am a survivor of sexual abuse, and I wanted to keep the topic. I did not stray on anything. She tried to distract. She personally attacked me for things that are not true, but she wouldn't answer the question. I went to her office yesterday with a group of American citizens who wanted answers. They knocked on the door. They were very peaceful, and they did not harass or bombard her office. And so, look, I think that this is what journalists should be doing, demanding.
Baby, Karen tried to make it seem like Don them led a damn whole insurrection against our office.
Answers. She won't answer. She won't answer. I don't control her lips.
You know, the Karen version of events is always more violent, grueling, and criminal than the actuality of the situation. But I want to also speak to Serena's comments on the chat. On the screen. Child, Don goes in so hard on his YouTube. I be so scared for him. Them MAGAs are crazy. They are. But here's the thing, y'all. It's time for our political officials, all of them, to draw blood. At this point, girl, politicians are going to have to be every bit of what our formal civil rights leaders have been. This is a time where things may get dangerous, things may get gully, but we actually need our leaders, our respected, appointed politicians to actually start laying down their bodies. We're in that type of a situation. We're in dire circumstances. And, you know, this is a time where shit is about to get really, 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 really real. This is what I want to see from our politicians. No holds bar in people's faces. I want to see aggression. And you know what? I would hate for anything to happen to Don Lemon and everybody else. But as far as I'm concerned, this is what they signed up for. They are the political first responders. And it's going to take this kind of bombasticness, this unapologeticness, and this willingness to kind of run toward the burning house in order to counteract some of this. So this is really encouraging, and I just hope that all of them, you know, stand on this type of business, baby. Be willing to get arrested, be willing to get a misdemeanor, be willing to go upside the head if necessary, baby. Okay, it's time to be outside to draw the weapons, honey. Okay, they made an oath to do what was in the best interest of the American people. So these are the people. These are our political police. They're the ones whose job it is to really stand on a substantive square and stand on some substantive business. So, you know, we never want shit to go apocalyptic, but you know what? That's why we have these people in place, and we're slowly etching toward more aggressive means to rectify a lot of the buffoonery and the criminality and the destruction of the Constitution itself. It's going to take non-Republicans to go hard, baby. Okay, they cannot be in self-preservation mode. They can't be in keep it cute mode. Like I said, I'm ready to see them do what our civil rights leaders had to do, baby. It's time to lay it on thick and lay it down. Lay these down.
But what I can do is control me asking questions and not giving up on that answer. I'm going to continue to ask her questions. I'm going to continue to call her office. She said, there's a right protocol to go through her office. Why don't you go through her office? I'm going to do that. I'll see if she grants me an interview. But she would not answer my question. So next, I'm going to ask Congresswoman Nancy Mace for an interview. So that was interesting.
He's still over there.
Okay, so let's go and see. How are you?
I'm good. I wanted to talk to you.
Okay, can we? I need to finish. I'm on the live now. Thank you. All right, so we're going back over to see. I think, you know, someone from her office, some couple people from her office kept pushing.
Okay, so Don Lemon, baby. Okay, a journalist boots to the ground, baby. Okay, baby, he going hard than the damn politicians are. The journalist, baby, he down there in the thick of it, in the eye of it, child, baby. So y'all send light and love to our journalists, our politicians, because they got to get in the paint. The people getting in the paint, baby. It's gonna take this from all of us, to be quite honest. So I just wanted to share with you guys that, because I caught that toward the end of the press conference, because I was watching on Lemon Stream when that took place. Now let me get up out of here and let's get into the press conference, because the press conference is like 2 hours, but I'm gonna go straight to when the victim started to speak, so you guys can hear some of that in case you guys have missed it. And I wanted to provide this coverage on my channel. So GOP and Dem lawmakers hold press conference with Jeffrey Epstein victims amid Trump controversy. You guys, and remember, 33,000 pages of the Epstein files have been released, allegedly redacted. We're pretty sure that Trump's name has been scorched and edited and redacted out of those pages. At least anything connecting Trump to any wrongdoing and criminality certainly has been scorched. Trump, unfortunately, is running right now. He got so many people in his back pocket. So there's a lot of people during his term as president that are willing to protect him, willing to help him break the law, people who are willing to take one for the team. I see how hard the Republicans are going to sustain and retain and hold down power. And that's the type of like relentlessness I need to see from the oppositional party, because these people are banding together to protect their interests and to ensure the execution of their twisted ass worldview. Okay. But here's that conference, and when this starts to play, give me a 1 in the chat if you guys can hear it.
And leading the way for the other Republicans. Hopefully they can find their spines as well. And with that, I give you Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yes. Good morning. This is my 5th year in Congress, and this is the largest press conference that I've seen since I've been here. And this is because this is an issue that matters so much to Americans. This is an issue that doesn't have political boundaries. It's an issue that Republicans and Democrats should never fight about. As a matter of fact, it's such an important issue that it should bring us all together. It's grieved me to watch the arguments and debates take place among my colleagues and even the administration. I think this is something that was worth fighting for. You see, the women behind me are going to tell you stories that you've never heard before. These are unimaginable horrors that they've lived with for their entire lives since they were very, very young.
Okay, we can get
But
past
these
her.
are
We
also
can
similar
get
stories
past her.
that many children, teenagers, women, and even men
against his estate and against office because she was a part of a federal investigation.
For your
Hey everyone. So I am asking you to please make a contribution to the Democratic National Committee.
courage and for being here, and thank you again to Congressman Massey for co-leading it. I now would like to introduce two people who have been fighting this for decades. They haven't had their voice heard. The victims haven't been heard. They haven't just been on this in the last few months. They've been doing this in the wilderness for years, and they are really models of courage. Bradley Edwards and Brittany Henderson, who are the attorneys for the victims. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Roe and Thomas Massey. I really appreciate you putting forth this discharge petition. It's tough to understand that we have to be here because this doesn't seem like a partisan issue. This is an issue. Sex trafficking and sexual abuse transcends politics. We as Americans expect equal protection under the law, and there can be no doubt that Jeffrey Epstein received far greater protection than any of the victims that he abused for years. In 2008, Courtney Wild walked into my office because she was a part of a federal investigation into Jeffrey Epstein, where all she wanted was the government to talk to her. Little did she know the government had worked out a secret immunity deal for Jeffrey Epstein, and we had to file Jane Doe's versus United States of America to prove that Jeffrey Epstein worked out an illegal non-prosecution agreement with the government. That was 2008. It took us 10 years battling the government pro bono for the judge to ultimately determine that the victims' rights were violated. The government has mistreated them after Jeffrey Epstein mistreated them. We then filed civil lawsuits against Ghislaine Maxwell, which has resulted in her being in prison. Our civil lawsuits led to her prosecution. We filed lawsuits against Jeffrey Epstein, against his estate, and against two financial institutions, JP Morgan and Deutsche Bank, that proved that they knowingly provided the financial infrastructure for a sex trafficking operation. Unfortunately, all of the documents and evidence that we have worked so hard to gather hide behind protective orders, confidentiality agreements, and bank secrecy laws. That is why this discharge petition is so important. While we have seen the documents, you haven't. And when you see the documents, you're going to be appalled. And the American people deserve to see everything. When you sign this discharge petition, it should mean nothing is off limits. That means the documents in the possession of the CIA should be made available. Those in the possession of the FBI going back decades should be made available. The SEC, financial records in the possession of FinCEN should be made available. Everybody knows that evil flourishes in the darkness. Corruption flourishes in secrecy. It is time right now to make a difference for the women that are behind me right now. They have been courageous and fought through this whole thing. Whether you're a Republican or you're a Democrat, this one is an easy call. You're an American who cares about equal rights and equal protection under the law. If you care about these women, if you care about our country, and you care about this issue, this should pass with flying colors. I really appreciate everybody being here.
Hi, good morning. My name is Brittany Henderson, and I think in addition to thanking the wonderful congressmen and women who are here today, we need to thank the women, and not just the women who are going to speak, but the other women who are standing behind them, along with other lawyers, Sigrid McCauley, and people who have been fighting for a very, very long time for the world to give this kind of attention to an issue that it should have had forever. This administration has the opportunity to do what the past administrations did not do. This administration can either stand with the victims and stand for the victims, or it can continue to hurt the victims like has happened in the past. We aren't here just to ask for transparency, though. We're here too to ask for protection. The women here represent hundreds of other women who we have spoken to, many of whom were trafficked from other countries, from Eastern European countries where women don't have the rights that we have here. Women don't have the protections that we have here. And those women are terrified that their names will be released in these files. The government won't know that they're victims to redact and protect them. So we ask that you please, whoever is going to be in charge of redacting these files and in charge of this transparency, do it in a way that protects the women brave enough to be here, but also protects the women who are terrified that every day when they turn the TV on, something bad is going to happen to them in Ukraine, in Russia, in whatever country they live in, because no one is listening to them there. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And please protect these women while we seek transparency.
Good morning. My name is Anushka DeGiorgio, and I stand before you today as a survivor of both Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. I want to thank Congressman Massey and Khanna for their role in putting together this very, very important bill. Every day of this journey toward healing has come at a profound cost to my mental health. But I am here. I chose to come because this bill really matters.
Ready to buy a new home, but not sure where to start? With low rates and
I speak today not only in service of my own recovery from trauma inflicted by Maxwell and Epstein, but to honor the lives, the courage, and sacrifices of Virginia Giuffre, Caroline Andriano, and others who could not continue. Their voices mattered. Their stories must not be forgotten. Accountability is what makes a society civilized. Equal opportunity and equal consequence for all. Consequences are not about punishment alone. They exist to deter future harm.
So this is about Trump too, like, which is why some of the reporters were asking Karen and the Don Lemon footage about Trump, and she was like, this is about da, da, da. Some of the women who are not at this conference have made allegations toward Donald Trump. Some of those women are not even alive anymore. They claimed their lives through suicide, etc., or died of mysterious causes, etc., have made direct accusations against Donald Trump as well. So this press conference here is of Epstein's victims, but they're representing the conglomerate of victims who have both been victimized by Jeffrey, Ghislaine, and Donald Trump. And some of those women are back in their native countries in fear of what will take place if the people responsible for censoring and redacting and editing these 33,000 pages of Epstein records are not diligent in identifying who is who and making sure that they protect the anonymity of the victims who wish to remain anonymous for fear of political and social cultural violence as a result of speaking up and speaking out.
To protect vulnerable and to set a standard of justice. If Ghislaine Maxwell were pardoned, it would undermine all the sacrifices I made to testify and make mockery of mine and all survivors' suffering. That is why the Epstein Files Transparency Act is so essential. It requires the Department of Justice release all the records related to Epstein and Maxwell investigations, flight logs, immunity deals, internal communications, and even the records surrounding Epstein's detention and death. And crucially, it forbids withholding documents simply because of embarrassment.
And we know that all that's going to happen. This is the same president who took classified documents and stored them in his guest bathroom in between the tub and the damn toilet. This is a lying-ass administration. This is the same administration that prior to officially winning the election, aka JD Eyeliner Vance, said that they believed and using fake news and false narratives, anything practically to get the job done, including operating unethically. Like, this is an administration that is lawless. They don't have zero integrity. They don't give up about anything but protecting their own asses and their own assets and agenda. So unfortunately, because this is the administration that is in office right now, they're also using lots of intimidation tactics of firing people left and right for actually doing their fucking jobs. They've got the political scene shook. It's a dangerous time to be even a federal judge, who this administration is not even listening to. You have federal judges pretty much outlawing and overruling other damn federal. It is an entire show right now. So as great as this bill is as a concept, bills require honor. And unfortunately, I'm not sure if we're living at a time where the people who have the power to release raw, true to, non-redacted, aside from the victims' names who should not be identified, records. I'm not even sure what's going to be left, even if a future administration, possibly a more integral Republican administration or even a integral Democratic administration, was to kind of pick up the torch and kind of overlook the work of this administration to make sure, like, I'm not even sure if this administration is literally just like control alt and deleting shit so that even future administrations, future presidents and their cabins and political leaders cannot even access the original filings to even know what was from what isn't. But I just know that this particular administration is full of fucking shit. And as I'm listening to her, all I can think is, my God, how you're unfortunately talking to an entire brick motherfucking wall. Brick wall.
Reputational harm or political sensitivity. This is about ending secrecy wherever abuse of power takes root. But transparency alone is not enough. Survivors need protection, resources, and legal support. If this Congress is serious about justice, then let this moment also affirm your commitment to provide victims with the legal aid they need to confront abusers, to navigate complex systems, and to reclaim their power. Transparency must be matched by support, or else too many victims will remain silent out of fear and lack of access. The statistics demand action. Nearly 1 in 5 women in America will experience rape or attempted rape in her lifetime. Every 74 seconds, someone is sexually assaulted. Every 9 minutes, that person is a child. These are not numbers, they are people. They are your daughters, your sons, your constituents, your friends. Statistically, 1 in 5 of your families will face this nightmare. The days of sweeping this under the rug.
Yes, I'm on row. They say GLP-1s
are over. We, the survivors, say no more. I want to help create a world where survivors of sexual abuse and abuse of power can come forward safely. And I ask Congress to join me in that effort, not only by passing this bill, but by ensuring that those who step forward have legal support to face their abusers and see justice done. When Judge Berman gave Epstein survivors the chance to finally speak, the world listened. After so many years, survivors were heard. That moment was historic, and so is this moment. For me, the turning point was when I had my daughter. And on the day she was born, I knew I had a responsibility to protect her and to protect all children. I have to use my voice, the voice that had been silenced by fear and shame for so many years. Make no mistake, My polished exterior is a shield hiding a wound that still bleeds. But through this wound, I have found purpose. To be part of lasting change in how we confront exploitation and abuse. And to be clear, the only motive for opposing this bill would be to conceal wrongdoing. You have a choice. Stand with the truth or with the lies that have protected predators for decades. I am no longer weak. I am no longer powerless. And I'm no longer alone. And with your vote, neither will the next generation be. President Trump, you have so much influence and power in this situation. Please use that influence and power to help us. Because we need it now, and this country needs it now.
Too close to home, baby. Too close to home. Too close to home.
Hello. My name is Annie Farmer, and I was 16 years old when I was flown to New Mexico to spend a weekend with Epstein and Maxwell. That same year, 1996, my sister, Maria Farmer, reported what happened to me there, along with reporting her own assault at their hands and their theft of sensitive photos of herself, of me, and our younger sister that she had taken for her work as a figurative painter. I am now 46 years old. 30 years later, we still do not know why that report wasn't properly investigated, or why Epstein and his associates were allowed to harm hundreds, if not thousands, of other girls and young women. We have never been told whether those images were found when they discovered a large amount of child sexual abuse material on his property.
Wow.
As a psychologist, I understand that when the systems meant to protect us recreate the abuse cycle, the betrayal that occurs can be just as damaging as the original trauma. This happens when survivors of these crimes are not believed, when our well-being is not weighed as heavily as those who have more resources or more privilege, and when perpetrators of these crimes are given a platform rather than the survivors of them. For so many years,
this is like one of the most fucked up situations a situation can be in. Here it is, you have all these victims of Donald Trump's best friend. And within this group are also women anonymously who have been violated allegedly by Trump as well. But because that violator is now the fucking president, and there's no getting around needing him to sign off on this bill, they now have to plead and appeal to the moral character of obviously someone who does not have a moral conscience, aka Trump, and who allegedly has direct involvement in the abuse and trafficking of some of these women. I mean, it's almost like asking the devil to do the right thing. That's pretty much the equivalent of what this is. It's like asking Satan himself to do a righteous thing, while Satan also knows that doing that righteous thing, to commenters in the chat, will pull the rug right under his feet. But you have no choice, because going through Satan is kind of the only way. This is wild. This is wild as.
It felt like Epstein's criminal behavior was an open secret. Not only did many others participate in the abuse, it is clear that many were aware of his interest in girls and very young women and chose to look the other way because it benefited them to do so. They wanted access to his circle and his money. Their choice to align with his power left those of us who had been harmed by this man and his associates feeling very isolated. I could never have imagined being here today and this chorus of support that we have all received.
While the victims are asking for his help, he's out here talking about possibly, maybe, potentially pardoning Ghislaine.
I have been sent so many notes and messages from people with no direct connection to this case who've expressed their solidarity with us. And I believe that is because, in part, as Anushka explained so well, this is an extremely widespread issue of child sexual abuse, of sexual exploitation, of sexual violence. This affects almost every family in some way. From my conversations with women in these last few days and from all of the support that we've received, is very clear to me that we are not going away, we are not going to be quiet, and we are not going to give up. And I ask the American public to stand with us and not give up. At a time with record high levels of distrust in our institutions and a perception that there are two Americas, one for those with power and privilege and one for everyone else, passing this Epstein transparency bill is one important step that can be taken to prove to Americans that the government does not side with sexual perpetrators. A thorough public review of this information is an important step in preventing the type of systemic failures that have occurred in this case and harmed all of us. An important step towards healing for those involved. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'd like to say thank you, everyone, for being here today on this very powerful and special day for all of us here. My name is Marina Lacerda. I was minor victim 1 in federal indictment of Jeffrey Epstein in New York in 2019. I was one of dozens of girls that I personally know who were forced into Jeffrey's mansion on 9 East 71 Street in New York City when we were just kids. Today is the first time that I ever speak publicly about what happened to me. I never thought that I would find myself here. The only reason that I am here is because it feels like the people who matter in this country finally care about what we have to say. As an immigrant from Brazil, I feel empowered knowing that the little girl struggling to get by at 14 and 15 years old finally has a voice. For the first time, I feel like I matter as an American. I was only 14 years old when I met Jeffrey. It was the summer of high school. I was working 3 jobs to try to support my mom and my sister when a friend of mine in the neighborhood told me that I could make $300 to give an older guy a massage. It went from a dream job to the worst nightmare. Jeffrey assistant Leslie Groff would call me and tell me that I needed to be at the house so often that I ended up dropping out of high school before 9th grade. And I never went back. From 14 to 17 years old, I went and worked for Jeffrey instead of receiving an education. Every day I hoped that he would offer me a real job as one of his assistants or something important. I would finally have made it big, as, like we say, the American dream. That day never came. I had no way out. I was until he finally told me that I was too old. There are many pieces of my story that I can't remember, no matter how hard I try. The constant state of wonder causes me so much fear and so much confusion. My therapist says that my brain is just trying to protect itself, but it's so hard to begin to heal knowing that there are people out there who know more about my abuse than I do. The worst part is that the government is still in possession right now of the documents and information about that could help me remember and get over all of this maybe and help me heal. They have documents with my name on them that were confiscated from Jeffrey Epstein's house and could help me put the pieces of my own life back together. But I don't have any of it. And I know the same is true for many of these women. We are here to support this bill today, not only for transparency, but for the American people. But if the government is going to convince the public describing the crimes committed by Jeffrey Epstein and others, the least that they can do is give me my documents that they have about me. The other survivors deserve the same respect from our government. While our identifying information must be redacted to the public, it is equally important to provide the victims themselves with unredacted information. I will never forget when the FBI agent showed up in my door in 2008. Jeffrey Epstein hired a lawyer to represent me, or more like to represent him, I like to say. I couldn't ask any questions, and I had no idea what was going on. I was terrified. Until today, I think most of us are still terrified. I thought somebody was going to kill me. I thought something was going to happen to my sister or my mother. It went further out to even maybe thinking something would happen in Brazil with my family. And then one day, the lawyer said that everything was just going to go away. Like nothing happened. I didn't need to testify. When I asked him why, he gave no explanation. That was it. So why? Why was I never called to testify then? We could have saved so many women. We could have saved so many lives from being abused. Why did he get away with it in 2008? Why was he able to go on in the abuse with hundreds of girls after the Florida investigation?
Money, money, money.
Why didn't they let me testify to help stop him? Our government couldn't have saved.
Not only money, Jeffrey Epstein made sure to get in cahoots with powerful people and then put them in compromising positions. Whether it was supplying them with prostitutes, supplying them with minors, maybe even being so scandalous, supplying powerful people, whether they be judges, journalists, politicians, with minors unbeknownst to some of these powerful people, and then capturing all their shit on camera and pretty much extorting and blackmailing their asses with that information. That's what Epstein Island and taking people to Epstein Island was so important to Jeffrey, because the whole place is laced with fucking cameras and surveillance. It was all about entrapping these people and love bombing them into proximity, using his power to get in proximity to people, setting their asses up so that if, God forbid, anything would have happened to him, he could have all these people in his back pocket. But all of them people would need something to lose as well in order to acquiesce. I mean, it is a mad genius level strategy. And unfortunately, it motherfucking worked, because the people who run in shit are people who are compromisable, weak, lack discipline, lack ethics and morality. These are all the things that played into them getting and being compromised to begin with. That's why, and rarely does any system have a system in place where we can truly vet people we put into power. Like, there's no rite of passage for people coming into power, but there absolutely should be. Because either what happens when you have power is the result of that power and money itself, like money and power itself corrupts, or corrupt people just end up weaponizing power and or money. But we ain't even got enough data to know which one is the goddamn case, or if maybe both are at goddamn work. But the way that Jeffrey Epstein narcissistically triangulated this whole situation in order to be able to save his ass is pretty wild. It's giving Diddy vibes too. All this capturing shit on camera, the way that Diddy blackmailed Cassie, was making her watch her freak off tapes in order to keep her submissive, keep her subdued, keep her obedient. Her family had to fucking take out loans and $20,000 from the damn bank just to pay Diddy off to ensure that he would not release said compromising footage of her and really destroy her public image. I mean, this is how dark and insidious these people are. And these are our rap stars. These are our presidents. These are our lobbyists. These are the wealthy. Sick.
Could have saved so many women, but Jeffrey Epstein was too important and those women didn't matter. Why? Well, we matter now. We are here today and we are speaking and we are not going to stop speaking. Today, I stand here with the women who have really helped me to find the strength to come out and come forward to share my story for the very first time. Together, we are stronger than ever. While she may not be with us, Virginia Roberts, we will continue to use our voices to strengthen yours always. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Courtney Wild. I just wanted to take a second and just have a moment of silence for all the women survivors that aren't here with us today, that passed away due to anxiety, depression, trying to keep up with this case. A moment of silence, please. Thank you. My name is Courtney Wild. I was only 14 years old when I was introduced to Jeffrey Epstein by a 13-year-old friend of mine. The details of the abuse that he inflicted on me for years is not important today. In 2028, I was cooperating with the federal government in the investigation of Jeffrey Epstein. They sent me a letter telling me to be patient because this was going to be a lengthy investigation, but at the same time, they refused to talk to me and tell me what was going on. So I hired an attorney, Brad Edwards.
Why did no one tell South Carolina drivers about this new rule?
If you are currently insured, drive like...
Because I was hopeful to get some answers. When I walked into his office at 19 years old, Brad sued the government for refusing to tell me what was going on under the Crime Victims' Rights Act. The only reason...
I think there's some other situation playing out in the same area. So that's some of the screaming and hooting and hollering that y'all hearing. But I think that's unrelated to this press conference. I think that there's another event or something transpiring in proximity to this.
Anyone ever found out that the government had already given Jeffrey Epstein immunity through the non-prosecution agreement was because our lawsuit forced the government to tell us. Otherwise, nobody would even know that today. Sometimes it's hard to believe that I had to sue the United States just to learn that my abuser was given immunity. I started as Jane Doe, but I decided I was proud enough to take on our country, and I was on the right side of history. We fought the government for 10 years to prove that the government violated our rights as crime victims and the crime victims' rights in order to protect a pedophile. We had to win the 11th Circuit Court Appeals to force the government to turn over thousands of pages of emails between Jeffrey Epstein and the government. Those emails provided the proof that the government worked very hard with Jeffrey Epstein to violate our rights. Why? Why did the government work so hard to protect Jeffrey and not so hard to protect me and my other innocent friends? Why was Jeffrey so important to the government, and why was I so insignificant? Why did nobody but our lawyers care before now? It seems people have only started to care because of Twitter and politics. But I would like to say this has nothing to do with politics. This is not a blue thing or a red thing. This is an everyone thing. We can all agree on this. The injustice that has happened here. Multiple, over and over. Everybody that talks about this just seems to make it worse. We need transparency. It's time for us to see beyond the curtain. Why was Jeffrey Epstein so protected? Who is still being protected? And who protected them all so the world can understand how Jeffrey was able to abuse so many of us for so long? I was lucky to have Brad Edwards, Brittany Henderson, and Paul Cassell take on my case pro bono and fight fearlessly over 20 years' time. I would like to thank them, and I'd also like to ask the Trump administration to please sign off on the Crime Victims' Rights Reformed Act, the Courtney Wild Crime Victims' Rights Reformed Act that's we're trying to get passed here so we can close the loopholes in the CVRA case that Epstein's attorney used to their benefit to get away with this. Thank you so much.
Good morning. First and foremost, we want to extend our deepest gratitude to Brad and Brittany Edwards, Congressman Massey and Kana, and above all, the brave survivors who have entrusted us with the privilege of speaking today on behalf of Virginia. Robert Giuffre, as her family. We are here today because we support H.Res.581, the Epstein Files Transparency Act, in its entirety. But as much as this bill is about shining a light on truth, it's not just about the bill. This is about justice. This is about survivors. This is about justice against the rich and powerful who have stolen something from these women and many children at the time, their freedom. The freedom to live their life without mental and physical scars that have been inflicted upon them by those who thought they were untouchable. The same freedom that these monsters took from these survivors, they should never be afforded. They should never be allowed to continue their lives with impunity. Let's be clear. This is not a political issue. This is not about left or right. This is about humanity. This is about doing what's right.
Yep, the gag about it is Trump is, 88, 87, 89 years old. He'll be president if he does live for the next 3.5 years. So we know that he won't face any serious persecution, not during his time as presidency. So by the time this is all wrapped up, I mean, Trump will be fucking bones. Still with a bunch of fat on the bone, but it'll be bones nonetheless. Two alternatives here, baby, is Trump as go out in a blaze of glory in terms of a blockbuster fatality, or he'll get his just dues in the next life. Maybe he'll be, I ain't gonna even say that.
And this is about ensuring that the future.
I am a believer and a student and an experiencer in the multi-infinities of reality. I know that heavens and hells and purgatories and astral dimensions exist beyond the body. Trump gotta die someday. And what he reaped, he will sow. He may spend his time getting his earthly treasure and experiencing his piece of heaven on earth. That's all because he's going to be busting hell wide open later. I think even the scriptures say something like that to the contrary, that don't worry about the wicked. The wicked, the only piece of heaven they're going to have is the one that plays out here. Their richness, their qualified immunity, their privilege. But baby, where they're going in the end, honey, it's a wrap on that ass.
We leave behind isn't one where the powerful can hide behind their wealth, their influence, and their money to evade justice. Our plea to you, whether you're a dad, a mom, a brother, or a sister, look your young ones in the face, look them in the eye, and tell them you didn't stand against the very people who raped, molested, and preyed upon children and young women. Tell them you were willing to negotiate a deal. Money should never be.
When you've got smoke-free satisfaction, you've got the freedom to do
what makes something right or wrong. If you vote no, your stance will be clear. You will be choosing to stand on the side of the rich and powerful, allowing money to buy your way out of the consequence. But here's my one ask. Look these survivors in the eye and tell them why. Then look the people of the United States in the eye and tell them why. And then when you're alone, look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself why. Virginia said it best, and I quote, "I have physical and mental scars that will never heal. I have memories that will never go away. They say time can heal, but this won't. Not until the justice system makes an example out of these people with so-called privileges. I just call it money. The only time I can begin to heal is when their freedom is taken from them, just like they did to me and literally thousands of other victims. The survivors of this horrific abuse are watching. The American people are watching, and history is watching. Which side will you be on?" Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jenna-Lisa Jones, and I was only 14 years old when my friend brought me over to Jeffrey Epstein's house in Palm Beach in 2003. I had a terrible home life, but I was such an innocent kid then. I always did my...
No, to my knowledge, there are no male victims. The male who just got finished speaking is speaking on behalf of another victim. Unfortunately, she's no longer alive. She apparently took her life after a long, extensive battle with everything going on with Jeffrey Epstein and sounding off and trials and speaking out. And she put in a good fight to get all this going and started. In the end, emotionally, she just couldn't take it anymore. And apparently she drove a car in front of a school bus, and she died a few days later. So these are her relatives speaking in her place. Well, that man was.
My best in school, and I had such a positive outlook on life. Until that day that I met Jeffrey, I have never been more scared in my life than I was that first time that he hurt me. I remember crying the entire way home, thinking about how I couldn't ever tell anyone about what actually happened in that house. This guy was so rich and had so many pictures with so many famous people, and no one would have ever believed me if I told them. I want to thank Congressman Rowe and Congressman Thomas Massey for having me here today. It was really hard for me to find my voice and to become strong enough to speak about my abuse. I didn't come forward until 2019, and even then it was like I was afraid of a ghost. I know that I was just a little kid, but sometimes I still feel like it is my fault that this happened. Being given the opportunity to speak at the United States Capitol building about something that is so important, not just to me and the women before you, but to the entire country. Together, we can finally make a change. And that is thanks to the people like these two congressmen and their teams who actually care about the victims. If you are a member of Congress and you are listening to all of us speak here today, please really listen to us. Please vote for this bill to be passed. Please recognize how important it is for transparency relating to Jeffrey Epstein. Whether you are a Democrat or a Republican, this does not matter. This is not about sides. You are an American, and you are a person who has chosen to serve in an elected position to stand up for those you represent who cannot always stand up for themselves. We are those people. We are the Americans that you promised to protect, and we need your help. Please, President Trump, pass this bill and help us. Make us feel like our voices are finally being heard. Thank you.
Victims 14 years old, 14-year-old girls. Let me tell you, it's almost kind of twilight to have to listen to them plead with Trump, who's also listed in these files and have been accused as well. But because he's in power and they need him, they got to. But my God, it's just so like, oh.
Good afternoon. My name is Haley Robson. I was a 16-year-old high school student athlete who made good grades and had high aspirations for college when I was recruited and asked by a classmate of mine alongside with a 20-year-old male if I wanted to give an old rich guy a massage.
And Trump will sign that bill as long as it's going to be guaranteed that he will not be liable for anything, long as anything pertaining to him has been thrown to the fire. And if he can pretty much promise that for anybody else that he needs to protect in those files. So my conclusion, if Trump ends up signing this bill and also signing some other things, is going to be, oh, okay, they've successfully protected everybody who they need to protect in this matter. They can kind of throw the rest to the wolves.
But what high school girl would not want to do that? That day changed my life forever. And when I got into the massage room, Jeffrey Epstein undressed and asked me to do things to him. My eyes welled up with tears, and I have never been more scared in my life. When it was over, he paid me $200 and requested in exchange that I bring a girl each time to make another $200. I told him I did not want to do that, and then he gave me an ultimatum. Either you come here and massage me when I call you, or you bring me friends of yours to massage, and I will give you $200 per girl for each time she comes. Wow. I felt and hoped to never hear from him again, but he called me every day. He was so wealthy and powerful, and he would not let me go. I felt I had no choice. If I disobeyed him, I knew something bad would happen. So knowing I did not want to be sexually abused, I started to bring him other girls from my high school, and he paid me $200 for bringing them.
Could you imagine? It's like a double entendre type of a trauma, like to have been victimized in this grotesque way as a minor, and then the only way out of your own abuse was to pretty much recruit other minors in your place to be abused, and then to have to grow up as an adult, live with the trauma of your own victimhood, and then deal with whatever your conscience is saying to you about what you did to save yourself, which involved bringing harm to other people. This is absolutely evil and diabolical. These people, baby. See, I know a lot of people don't like the concept of hell, baby, but I love the concept of hell. I need there to be a hell. Yeah. Because what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? Like, this is, I don't ever want to find out. Like, how do people even live with this type of shit? Like, how do victims even it just goes to show the power and pure infinity stone of the human will to even be able to still show up, stand up, and try to go forth in your life in the best way you can while having endured something like this. I am such a empathic person. I don't even know if I could have lived as an adult with the things that some of these women have to live with, especially for those who chose to recruit other young girls to be brought into this type of mania. And it's none of their faults. You know, she's not a villain for what she did. She was a child, and she was taking her way out of something she should have never been in to begin with. All of this falls on the hands of Jeffrey Epstein and his bizarreness. And the fact that Trump is not even openly rebuking his bestie and was literally riding around in this man's private plane while he was campaigning for president of the United States. I can totally understand the people who are like, I will never forgive the people who voted for this person ever. Because what in the have people done? This is crazy. And the fact that the president is this person's right-hand man, the fact that, what the birthday card read again? I want to quote the birthday card that Donald Trump sent to Jeffrey Epstein. Let me find it. Wall Street Journal, birthday letter to Epstein bore Trump's signature, drawing of a naked woman on the front of it. A collection of letters gifted to Jeffrey Epstein for his 50th birthday in 2003 included a note bearing Donald Trump's name and an outline of a naked woman, according to a Wall Street Journal report published Thursday. The drawing depicting a woman's breast and a Donald Trump signature in the place of pubic hair surrounded several lines of typewritten text. According to the newspaper, which reviewed the letter, it concluded with the line, "Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret." Trump, in an interview with the Journal on Tuesday, denied that he wrote the letter, of course, or drew the picture and threatened to sue the newspaper if it published the story. Quote, "I never wrote a picture in my life. I don't draw pictures of women," he said, according to Journal. Quote, "It's not my language. It's not my words." In response to the story, Trump posted on Truth Social Thursday night that he'd order Attorney General Pam Bondi to produce any and all pertinent grand jury testimony subject to court approval. She quickly responded on X that she was ready to do so on Friday, though the process of getting judges to sign off on such a move would likely take considerably longer. Hold on, y'all. Donald Trump. Another year of wonderful secrets? What the fuck is wrong with these people? Hold on. Y'all thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Listen to the Jeffrey Epstein tapes. Quote, "I was Donald Trump's closest friend." Baby, these people are absolutely through the roof. Explosive tapes recorded by author Michael Wolff show Epstein claiming Trump liked to F his friends' wives and first slept with Melania on the Lolita Express. This is who the hell y'all made the fucking president of the United States. My God, today. Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna end up going down the damn rabbit hole just sitting here on my damn phone. Another wonderful year of secrets. Happy birthday, and may another day be another wonderful secret.
I just hoped each time it would be the last time. One day, the stepmom of one of the girls brought him and called the police on Jeffrey Epstein. The police then called me in for questioning. I had told them the truth despite the fact that I was a teenager and a minor, and I was able to tell the police the names of all the other victims. The police treated me like a criminal. I had, by this time, had turned 18. I had been with Jeffrey since I was 16 and for 2 years. So they had told me So they told me I was going to be arrested. My name was then distributed to the press as a co-conspirator of my abuser, who I detested. My entire world was crashing in around me, and I started being threatened and bullied, till this day still receiving death threats. I was singled out and for many years had to suffer a smear campaign of lies about me.
But to that point, Sherry, I wonder if that was the interesting, like if that choosing Trump had to be strategic in terms of the people behind the machine, the shadow realm, the shadow government behind Trump. They had to find someone who's just as corrupted, for one, and for someone who could be so easily persecuted, for two, if his tea was ever truly spilled, the way that it could be spilled. Because Donald Trump, living in such a salacious, criminal, alleged perverted way, made him the perfect puppet because he would have the most to gain as a puppet. Donald Trump, due to the way he's lived and the things he's allegedly done, would have been in the perfect position to go ahead and sell what was remaining of his goddamn soul to the machine that's using him. He was the perfect candidate for this. Donald Trump can't even say no. Donald Trump is the mascot of the movement. He's not even the brains of the operation, of course. He's too incompetent to be that. But he already had enough political push. He had already been chosen. And he's just the person pushing the pin and the gears on behalf of another system. And as more of this shit comes out and out and out and out, and we learn about how ridiculous and absurd and crazy and hellish Donald Trump really is and how wild he's lived, like choosing him as a candidate was, it makes perfect sense. Choosing him as a mascot for this movement, for this agenda, makes perfect sense. The man can't even say no. He's got too much to lose by saying no. He's hanging on by a thin thread. All of Trump's tea is literally like one closet door knob away from just combusting open. And he knows that. So he has to acquiesce. He's also okay with that because he's a narcissist. He doesn't even care that he doesn't have actual power. The fact that it just looks like he does. And he gets to go down in history as the alleged executor. He's okay with that, even though he's just an employee, a do-boy. I don't think there's going to be any justice. I think these women will be dead and gone. I think that we'll all be dead and gone. I think our children would have grown up, had children, and they'll be dead and gone by the time any footwork is done. My eyelash getting caught up.
Because of the way that I was portrayed by the press.
See, the swamp is too deep. And I'm glad that they keep saying that this is not about a particular political party, because the reason why Obama and Biden and them couldn't release those goddamn files is because both sides are corrupted as well. Members of both sides have been with the foolishness and the corruption of it all. Neither side has non-blood stained hands. Everybody has to be invested in the protection of this shit, whether they're directly implicated or indirectly, because their party is implicated. We're going to get a redacted version of the Epstein files now. We didn't get them at all in prior administrations because they didn't even bother. Nobody even knew how to handle the goddamn PR nightmare that would ensue. Because what's going on is a poor reflection of both sides. Members from both sides, whether they're small bit players or major players, have been with the shits. And now they're all kind of throwing each other under the bus verbally. Oh, but if they could have did it, why they didn't do it? Oh, it's a hoax. It's all this. Two wings of the same fucking demon. I'm just curious how the whole system is just going to come down. I want to reincarnate to see it come down. I'm just curious to know how is all this going to come to a head. And I know that it's not going to completely come to a head in my lifetime. But I'm just so curious to just see when all this shit comes up out of the volcano, when all this shit comes from up out of the graves of the culture, the graves of the government, the graves of the world governments. When all the truth finally hits the fan in this age of Aquarius, because it's going to hit at some point in this 2,500 year astrological era. When, I don't know. But my God. It's going to be as dark as the night sky, baby. When all of the truth comes out. And there will be a point in time where all of the truth, not just as it pertaining to Jeffrey and Donald, but when the truths of all things, the way that the Vatican manipulated religion, the shit that they're concealing from the world stage, the truth about the world religions, the truth about our governments, the truth about our planet. The hidden sciences that they're not talking to us about. The hidden worlds they've tapped in with and into with the Hadron Collider. The truth about whether we are alone in the universe, whether there are other hyper intelligences that are dwelling and cohabitating alongside us. The truth about other dimensions and parallel worlds. There's going to be a point in time, baby, where the truth is going to come up and out. The number one occultic rule is all things must bear unto the light, witness unto the light. And the world is going to have a significant facelift. It's going to be a profound shift in humanity. When all this shit, all of it hits the fucking fan.
The press made me out to be a predator when I was just a 16-year-old little girl who was sexually abused by a powerful man and an evil man. For years, I had no friends. My boyfriend was murdered, and there was nowhere to turn. The government, after investigating more, learned that I was true a victim, but the damage was done and it was too late. There was no way to undo the harm the press had caused me. In 2019, I met Brad Edwards and Brittany Henderson. They changed my life and they believed in me and have helped me to finally heal. Healing is a process, and I may never get there. But the passage of this bill requiring the government to produce all the evidence that it has gathered on Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell is a huge component of healing for me and for the many other women who have suffered for so long, for many reasons. First, we and the rest of the world need answers. Why was he so protected? And why didn't anyone ever care to stop him? It doesn't take a brain surgeon to know that if he is spending thousands of dollars a day paying high school girls he abuses and had a lot of access to cash. I learned through my attorneys in the JP Morgan class action case that there were years when his staff withdrew over $1 million in cash a year. Was that not a big enough red flag? There were wire transfers to other victims, and the government did not protect us. The banks did not protect us. So lift the curtain on these files and be transparent. Every single time a new conspiracy gets circulated in the media, whether he is still alive, what powerful person had him murdered, who was on the Epstein client list, and there are names going around on TikTok and Instagram, we, the survivors, are suffering severely. We take our kids to school and everyone is talking about it. We can't read the news or do anything without hearing crazy stories that are only able to live on because the government continues to hide the evidence and the truth. So people just make up stories. Those stories hurt. They hurt real people who have already been hurt. And we have lost so many Epstein victims to suicide, and maintaining the real truth in secrecy only allows for conspiracy theorists to tell lies that drives up our anxiety and fears and will continue to lead to more pain, more suffering, and honestly, more deaths of innocent victims. It's time you do is right by us. Unseal all the documents. We are requesting transparency, and I am requesting every congressman and woman that goes against this bill be outed. I want to know. Thank you.
Tear into the press and tear into Congress.
Hi there, my name is Lisa Phillips, and I'm the host of a award-nominated podcast called From Now On, a platform supporting survivors. I want to thank all of my survivor sisters who came before me today. I'll be very short. In the year 2000, I was taken to Jeffrey Epstein's island while on a photo shoot on a nearby island. Who I saw and what I experienced there was a glimpse into a very dark and disturbing world. For years after, I tried to avoid Jeffrey, but he had introduced me to Katie Ford, the owner of the Ford Modeling Agency. Epstein's reach went to the very top of fashion, arts, and entertainment. This did not just happen to underage girls in Florida. In New York City, hundreds of young, ambitious women were abused by him. Epstein was not just a serial predator, he was an international human trafficker. And many around him knew, many participated, and many profited. And yet he was protected. So I stand here today for every woman who has been silenced, exploited, and dismissed.
With the new Blue Apron, you don't have to subscribe.
We are not asking for pity. We are here demanding accountability, and I'm demanding justice. Congress must choose. Will you continue to protect predators, or will you finally protect survivors? And also, I would like to announce here today, us Epstein survivors have been discussing creating our own list. We know the names. Many of us were abused by them. Now, together as survivors, we will confidentially compile the names we all know who were regularly in the Epstein world. And it will be done by survivors and for survivors. No one else is involved. Stay tuned for more details.
Hello, my name is Shantae Davies, and I'm here before you today as a survivor of decades of pain, trauma, and betrayal at the hands of Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein, and the people who enabled them and a government that for far too long refused to help. In 2002, I was living in California, a young woman with high aspirations of becoming an actress. I was already beginning to make a name for myself in the industry. A person I trusted, someone I thought was a friend, invited me to meet a powerful woman who could help advance my career. That woman happened to be Ghislaine Maxwell. I was asked to give her a massage, though I had almost no experience. And when I did, she praised me and promised introductions to someone enormously powerful, someone who could change the course of my life. And that man was Jeffrey Epstein. At first, I was an excited young woman on top of the world. Epstein flew me to his private island. He listened to my dreams, promised to help, but his promises came with a catch. The abuse began. He told me to keep it secret. He manipulated me with quid pro quo I did not consent to, but I felt I had no one to turn to. He was too powerful. I was just one of the many young women trapped in his orbit. I was even taken on a trip to Africa with former President Bill Clinton and other notable figures. In those moments, I realized how powerless I was. If I spoke out, who would believe me? Who would protect me? Epstein himself was the most...
You know what I'm talking about? Both sides, baby. Both sides.
Powerful leader of our country. Epstein surrounded himself, with the most powerful leaders of our country and the world. He abused not only me, but countless others, and everyone seemed to look away. The truth is, Epstein had a free pass. He bragged about his powerful friends, including our current president, Donald Trump. It was his biggest brag, actually. And what I endured will haunt me forever. I live every day with PTSD. I live as a mother trying to raise my child while distrusting a world that has betrayed me. This kind of trauma never leaves you. It breaks families apart. It shapes the way we see everyone around us. But one thing is certain, unless we learn from this history, monsters like Epstein will rise again. There are files, government files, that hold the truth about Epstein, who he knew, who owed him, who protected him, and why he was allowed to operate for so long without consequence. Why was Maxwell the only one held accountable when so many others played a role? Why does the government hide this information from the public? This secrecy is not protection, it's complicity. And as long as the truth is buried, justice will remain out of reach. That is why this bill matters. Passing it will, bless you, ensure that the suffering of survivors is not in vain. Passing it will bring accountability, transparency, and prevention. It will help protect the next generation of predators who seek to place themselves above the law through wealth, influence, and connections. This is not just my story. It is about every survivor who carries invisible scars. It's about the weight we live with daily. It is about the families broken and the future stolen. So I ask you, President Trump and members of Congress, why do we continue to cover up sexual abuse and assault? Who are we covering for? Let the public know the truth. We cannot heal without justice. We cannot protect the future if we refuse to confront the past. Thank you.
Let's just give a round of applause for all the courage and strength that the survivors have shown. We now will take a few questions. You can always get Congressman Massey, me, or Congresswoman Green in the hallways and other places. If you have questions for us, that's fine. But I wanted to see first if you have questions for the lawyers and the survivors, and Brad will facilitate any of the questions to the survivors. Yes.
Yeah, this question would be for the survivors, Mr. Edwards. The president has said that this Epstein issue is a hoax, is the word that he used. Can we get your reactions to what you think when you hear him say that?
I'll answer that. Mr. President Donald J. Trump, I am a registered Republican, not that that matters because this is not political. However, I cordially invite you to the Capitol to meet me in person so you can understand this is not a hoax. We are real human beings. This is real trauma.
What does it feel like emotionally to hear that?
Devastating.
It's being gutted from the inside out. Not that I would know what that feels like, but I imagine it's the anxiety buildup with the depression and the survival mode, and then your nervous system goes limp and ironically is shot. And it feels like you just want to explode inside because nobody, again, is understanding that this is a real situation. These women are real. We're here in person. To say that it's a hoax is just not, please humanize us. I would like Donald J. Trump and every person in America and around the world to humanize us, to see us for who we are and to hear us for what we have to say. There is no hoax. The abuse was real. Now, what goes on behind closed doors, I can't speak for that. What happens around the world politically, I cannot speak for that. But I am here with all of these women, including our attorneys, and I would be more than happy to meet with him, and I will meet him halfway.
Ms. Edwards, I wonder if any of the victims could respond to the news from recently about Ghislaine Maxwell being transferred to a lower security prison in the aftermath of speaking to Todd Blanche.
You want that one?
About her transfer to
Okay, so I just wanted you guys to hear directly from the victims. They got into answering questions from the public. You guys can go and check the rest of that out. They're trying to get laws passed, 33,000 plus Epstein files have been released. Whether they're being transparent, it's like, how do we even confirm that? How do we even confirm whether what's being given is original, true to source material or redacted, man-made as imagination? Man-made as information. I think keeping this alive publicly and socially is important. We got midterms coming up. We will have another presidential election coming up in 3.5 years. It's important that we understand who we're dealing with and what we're dealing with. If Donald Trump was any type of a man, we know why he's not here. We know that this is close to home. He got allegations his damn self. This is his best friend. We know why he ain't here. But the fact that he ain't here, the fact that he wasn't present at this press conference, the fact that he ain't signed the bills yet, etc. I don't really know what else people really motherfucking need. But at the same time, the man is the fucking president, and he ain't going nowhere over the next 3.5 years, regardless of what the fuck he's found liable of, especially criminally. I'm gonna get a hold of them files though, and I'm going to put them through some of the software that I have and see what I can get highlighted in those files. And if you guys continue to learn things about the files, email me at consciouztv@gmail.com. I think this is a step in the right direction in terms of these lawmakers, these victims coming forward, applying pressure. I hope these women continue to talk. They need to talk because if there is a hit out on them, remaining silent allows us to not really identify what's going on. We now know if any of them end up in a weird ass position, if they end up deceased under weird circumstances, we know why. So I think it's better for them to come out of hiding and for them to continue to raise hell. Some of these women are actually registered Republicans themselves. That's not getting in the way of them holding who need to be held accountable. It's just a very convoluted situation with Trump being the fucking president, man. This is just so bewildering. It's so bewildering. And it's so many moving fucking parts. This is just nuts. So I stand with you guys in wishing the victims justice. And under this lawless ass administration, baby, I just don't think we're gonna see a lot of justice. I think under this lawless administration, we're going to see a lot of lawlessness. We're going to see a lot of agenda. I don't think we're going to see a lot of justice. It's too much unjust shit going on right now as a result of this administration. And when they do the right thing, even the right thing is being used for something insidious. It's either being used as a deflection, as a distraction. It's being used to soften up the public. It's just a weird ass time. It's just so weird. It's such a bizarre time. Yeah. I'm gonna go down the rabbit hole though. I'm gonna get off here. You guys tell me what you guys think about all this, what you guys think should be done, what you guys think we can do, what you guys want to see from our politicians, what you guys are just thinking, any information that you have, any books, any channels you want to refer me to, leave all that in the comment section. We will be back. I just wanted to make sure to help provide some coverage to this situation. You guys thumbs up, of course, share if you enjoy yourself, Cash App and or PayPal, tell a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend. And at some point, we're going to have an open discussion, and I'll drop the link, and you guys can pop off and sound off and emote as it relates to all of this going on. So you guys stay prayed up and, yeah, stay righteous. I'll see you guys later.